Hey, and welcome to the Vergecast for the week of August 19th, 2013. Really? I'm Josh Topolsky. I heard that in the control room, laughing because I don't know the year. It's not my fault. I had a terrible accident and my short-term memory is blown. The accident was smoking too much weed. I'm Josh Topolsky, and this is the Vergecast. Alongside, I don't know what's happening. Let's just start over, okay? I wasn't here last week. Things have changed.
Yeah.
I'm Josh Topolsky.
I'm drunk. Wait, I'm Nilay Patel.
You're not.
I wish I was.
Wow.
And
I'm Dieter Bohn.
Hi, Dieter.
Yeah.
Bone Zone is with us in the studio.
That's right.
In our physical proximity.
Yeah. It's very exciting.
That intro was one of the worst.
That Bone Zone is in you. You're not in the Bone Zone.
I don't like that.
The other way.
You know what? Yeah, a lot of people think a lot of people think that when I make reference to the Bone Zone that I'm talking about a sexual position or maneuver.
No.
I'm talking about a state of mind.
Right.
Okay.
State of being.
State of being.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Being
Which is a sexual position.
being inside the Bone Zone.
Yeah.
Anyhow, Dieter's here and it's great. We're very excited. We have if you want to take out the Verge, if you want to do a strike, a drone strike,
this that way.
If you want to do a drone strike and just totally dismantle the Verge, we'll all be in New York this weekend for an all hands gathering. We're having our whole team together.
71 people.
71.
Wow.
That doesn't sound right.
That's right.
There's no way that I'm in charge of 71 people.
No,
I'm definitely not in charge of 71 people. Anyhow, so we're all gathering here, and Dieter has got here a little bit early.
Yeah.
And we're very excited.
I'm still tired.
Yeah.
Yeah. You don't seem tired.
Tomorrow will
Not a
be
fan of
really
flying.
strange because it'll be just 71 people posting whatever they want. It's just going to be a free-for-all.
It's going to be great.
Yeah, it's going to be
It's
great.
going to be very exciting. Anyhow, we have a lot of news to talk to you about here on the Vergecast. By the way, the Vergecast is where we talk about the week in technology news and other news. And God knows there was some of all of that this week.
I mean, I have to say, last week at the end of the Vergecast, I was like, and the news is back, everyone. I'm really excited.
I didn't see it. I missed it.
It's okay. I was
at a wedding.
I mostly just did swearing.
Did swearing.
Yeah, it's just a phrase. I'm using.
I did swearing all night.
And
People were shocked.
the news is actually not back.
No.
There's not a lot of news.
It's been kind of a low, but we did some exciting stuff. We should talk about our back to school guide. People are very interested in it.
When the news takes a break, the Verge leaps into action.
That's when we leap into action. When the news
Before
is
that,
hardcore,
we're like,
that.
you know what? It's cool. We don't need to cover this. Yeah, we just did this. We just published this really cool. If you guys haven't seen it, go to theverge.com. Here it is, our back-to-school buying guide, which is a responsive, adaptive design. This is, by the way, a sign of things to come.
I haven't tried the
This is not like a one-off, like we spent 6 months working on it. We did spend a bunch of time working on this, but this is actually like kind of a taste of the future for feature layout and for big pieces that we do. And to me, like, this is very exciting because I feel like it's so close to like a magazine layout, but like for the web and really fast and functional. Even on like my phone, it's blazingly fast, very exciting. And so you should check it out. And it's obviously like we have also our picks for the things we think people should take back to school. We kind of did this thing where we were like, well, we sort of like intimately know. We feel we intimately know certain types of people. Like we have a lot of people here that fall into these three. They're pretty broad categories. We kind of call them the artist, the engineer, and the designer. I believe is the first one because we swapped the names at one point. But it's kind of like a cool way to break down like some of these groupings.
Yeah.
But everything, like I think you can mix and match. All the stuff here is stuff that we like and endorse and think would be good to own.
Yeah.
We had this. I'll tell you what. We had this concept. Like, what if we did it? Like, what if we had a photo shoot and we had like models and we like put them in like with the gear and then we did it, which was extremely cool.
Yeah,
which we haven't had.
And
we haven't done a ton.
Michael Shane took the photos.
Michael Shane took
in a Brooklyn photo studio.
Michael Shane took
took
the beautiful photos and Scott Kellum and our whole design team did like a ton of work on this. James Che did kind of like he was like the art director at the shoot. He was like yelling at models and pushing interns to the ground.
Yeah.
And like if they spilled a drink, he would push them to the ground and rub their nose into the drink and say, how do you like it? Or something like that. I don't know. I was just told. This is like James is like, why are you saying this about me? Luckily, I think he's out of town, so he probably can't get a hold of this broadcast.
Yeah.
Anyhow, so it's cool. You should check it out. Our back to school guide, and there's definitely more stuff like this to come from us, and it's very exciting.
I want to talk about the gut bacteria feature.
Yeah. Okay. We did we had several great features this week.
Yeah.
We did this one about how the bacteria in your stomach is making you insane.
Yeah.
Basically, it's like affecting your brain.
Right.
And now we all have to get on probiotics immediately.
So I just eat a ton of yogurt.
No, it's like crazy. So the narrative starts. I mean, there's a teenager with like crazy OCD, like over the top, and they prescribed her probiotics to change the bacteria levels in her stomach.
Yeah.
And her symptoms dissipated.
It's crazy.
And now I feel like I have to.
Yeah,
I
all
have
of
to
your
know.
problems are because of what you're eating and what's inside your stomach.
Is it? It's like bourbon and pizza.
Yeah.
Like,
That's definitely.
it.
I mean, that's definitely the root of your problems. No, I thought this article was really interesting. We actually had this in the pipeline for a while, and everybody kept going like the microbiome piece,
Yeah.
and finally, like,
what you might not know is that all of our pieces get little weird code names. That,
Yeah.
may or may not have anything to do with. The piece.
as we're planning them, you hear like the name over and over again. You're like,
It's
oh
like,
yeah,
what is that
going to be?
Yeah.
And anyhow, but this is great. I mean, it's great work from the features team, and again, this is Dylan Lathrop, one of our illustrators, illustrator, who did the great animated GIFs. And hey, it's cool. And then we did this depression in Palestine piece. That was this week, right?
Yeah,
that was Tuesday.
All we do is write about depression now.
That's right.
That's our whole job.
No, but it's actually.
I did see somebody tweet at you. You're like, check out our. I
I was like, I got something really cool. I hope it's not something depressing, like the Syrian gas attacks or the depression
we
in
just
Palestine.
laughed at Syrian gas attacks.
Yeah. No, we didn't. We're not laughing at the attacks. We're laughing at the fact that we have done some heavier reporting this week. But this one's really good. I mean, this was basically when we were at TED. Stephen Greenwood, our video producer, met up with this doctor who gave a TED talk and was talking about like the kind of overwhelming depression in Palestine, and it's like 40% of the people there, they estimate, have like clinical depression, and so they're doing some really interesting stuff to treat it. And we thought it was an interesting story. We thought it was a really interesting science story. It's an interesting story about the world, I think, in our day and age.
Yeah.
But it's just interesting to see how. It's not something that you've heard about this particular story. You don't hear, you hear a lot about Israel and Palestine. You hear about, like, obviously human suffering and conflict, but you don't hear about this sort of byproduct of it, which is, it's really depressing. It's a depressing environment to live in, and it creates depression in the people there.
We have a lot of depression posts.
Yeah,
we've done. I blame Katie Drummond, who is basically a goth. Coming into the office, listening to The Cure. And she's like, let's run a bunch of articles about depressing people and depressed people.
It's funny because that's what I did with and that's what run a bunch of articles about TiVos. It's like different kind of
depression.
Your depression about IR blasters. But anyhow,
so we did a bunch of cool stuff.
We did do some stuff about depression this week. That's true. The microbiome pieces, or the probiotic,
that's not about depression.
It's not really about depression. It's about just like a new kind of.
I mean, the idea that like the bacterial makeup of your stomach can like drastically affect your moods to me is.
Hey, you are what you eat. Am I right, guys?
Oh God.
No.
Okay.
Why?
Nailed it.
Why?
Now, it actually doesn't really have to do with what you eat. It's like what's happening in your stomach.
Right.
Yeah. Anyhow, so that's a taste of some of the stuff. Do we other stuff?
There's news. I mean, it's just the news.
What's interesting that happened this week?
Here's the biggest piece of like.
I got my custom Moto X. Does anybody care about that? Check it out, guys. Can you see my orange buttons? There they are.
Yeah, I also got mine. I got orange buttons as well.
He went for a kind of an army green.
Tell him your story.
What's my story? Oh, so
mine has powered by Palm OS on the back, though.
Mine has no
What's the
engraving
difference?
and no startup message. But when I opened it out of the box, it wasn't my phone. They sent these out to a whole bunch of journalists, and mine got swapped with some other guys.
Classic case.
And I have to say the quality control between these is pretty.
Well, Chris has one. Chris has one, and his buttons are a little funky. I mean, this is their very first batch.
Yeah.
Mine seems great. I mean, honestly, like quality wise, the engraving's fine. I'm not keeping this. This is going to go back to Motorola, but it's also like they wouldn't say. I was like, can I just buy one? Like, just let me buy one. I don't need to like do your journalism thing anymore. Like, just let me have a phone. They're like, no, we're giving you a code, and you're going to get one.
Yeah.
But here's the crazy thing. Okay. They delivered this phone to my house.
Yeah.
I was watching Star Trek Into Darkness 2 days ago at like 1 a.m. And my doorbell rang, which if you live in Brooklyn and your doorbell rings at 1 a.m, you're like, home invasion. Like someone's going to kick in the door and I'm going to be murdered. So I was like, what's going on? And I go to the door and I'm like, yes. And the guy's like, delivery? I'm like, no, it's not a delivery. I know how this starts. You say delivery, and the next thing you know, I'm tied up and you're killing me. And he was like, it's FedEx. We have a delivery from Motorola. at 1:05 a.m. So I don't know what this is to me. Like, I don't know what service they use, but my guess is they use the service where when they're shipping like a liver that's for somebody to transplant.
I mean, are you sure that he was a FedEx guy? Maybe you just a Motorola guy dressed up like. Well,
he had a FedEx
guy.
box, and I had.
It was Dennis Woodside.
It was Dennis Woodside wearing a cap.
He's like, listen, they cut back on resources here.
Yeah.
Google's been doing some cuts.
Yeah.
And
The secret to them manufacturing in America is that Dennis Woodside personally delivers every single Moto X.
not only do they manufacture in America, they'll deliver any time of the day or night. Right. That's their personal guarantee.
Yeah.
They will wake up your sleeping children and your family and terrify you at 1 a.m. to get you your engraved phone.
Well, you can't get it engraved, though.
Well, you can't get it engraved
They've
anymore.
taken the
Wait, how did you
engraving
get
for
yours engraved?
I don't know. They sent
did
it to
for
me.
the first
I
batch
feel like
of
I want to know
journalist
what the
review
reaction of the
units.
person was who was on the engraving line when they were putting powered by Palm OS on the back of it. You understand? A lot of people, here's how old Palm OS is. People don't even know that it existed.
Yeah.
People are like, I think you mean Web OS. No, I didn't mean Web OS, jerks. Palm OS was what preceded Web OS. It was what was on the Trio.
That was what
the Trio line. By the way,
That's what you fell in love with.
Trio line. You should. Yeah.
I saw a Centro.
Whoa.
Really?
On the subway the other day. A woman
Wow.
was seriously with her Centro going like this with
Yeah.
the stylus. And I was like, what is happening? It's like, are you in like a time warp? Is there a field around you where it's like 1997? And
A month ago,
from, like,
I got
2006,
drunk
meanwhile.
on Saturday night and tweeted for about an hour all my favorite Palm OS apps. Snapper Mail.
Snapper Mail?
Files.
I think I used Snapper Mail.
Snapper Mail was the best. It was touch friendly.
What was the TurboGrafx emulator? I used to love that.
Oh,
What?
I didn't use emulators.
That's like the whole reason I owned the Trio was because it had a TurboGrafx emulator.
Right.
I was like, this is the future. I'm playing a TurboGrafx game on a phone that I put in my pocket.
Yeah.
That's why, like, remember at Engadget, I freaked out when somebody when people were still doing, right at the beginning of the homebrew stuff for the iPhone. I actually think I decided to go and buy another one once somebody had done a TurboGrafx emulator.
Oh, sorry, because you bought it and then took it back, right?
I bought it and took it back because I didn't like it. I was like, my Trio does this. I don't need this. And you can tell I'm just cutting edge. On the cutting edge.
So you want to talk about the iPhone? We should
Oh, the
talk
gold
about this
iPhone?
Yeah.
Oh, I meant to bring my orange iPhone so I could say.
Yeah, you
Nice.
have an iPhone that's like all custom.
I've got I got it done by Anna style, so they stripped off the black anodization.
Can they do gold?
Re-anodized it in orange, and they do gold too. Yeah,
Right.
Yeah.
So you can have a gold iPhone right now. How much does it cost?
it's like $200.
Yeah, but this is like a
Cheaper
little
than
bit
a new
different.
phone.
Yeah.
Or about the same price.
So here's the thing. It's the same. I mean, like
It looks
I wasn't,
cool.
I wasn't
I'm ready to
expecting
go.
I wasn't expecting it to look
that's
any
Dieter's
different.
phone.
That's Dieter's phone. I wasn't expecting it to look any different, right?
No.
Like I don't know why I was expecting like maybe a bigger screen or
Can
a new
we see?
design.
Can we see the gold iPhone?
Yeah, it's up there somewhere. They got a link.
Can you get it? Can you pump it up into the view screen? Get it.
So I'll say this. So
Here it comes.
I got a new iPhone last night actually because my
Whoa.
lock button was broken. So you just take
iPhone
it.
5S.
No, I wish. So I just went to the store and I was like, "Hey, this is broken." And they just handed me a new one. Apparently, it's a common problem.
Wow.
Well, his home, your power,
The lock button.
the lock, the power wake,
The sleep wake
Yeah, yeah.
button.
sleep wake, whatever we call it here.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I've heard of a lot of people having that break.
Yeah, there
also,
was-
your phone looked like a complete piece of garbage.
So they told me they were looking at it, like, "What the hell did you?" I was like, "Nothing." Like
Yeah.
this phone,
You're
and
like,
they're
I
like,
took it in and out of my pockets.
they're like
100
the
times.
first batch of iPhone 5s was like super scratched up.
Yeah.
and now they've done something which may or may not be true. They might just be like the lies the Apple geniuses tell. To like,
Yeah.
make you
Yeah.
look okay.
Lies Apple
Anyway,
geniuses
the thing
tell.
with you- so
The
I
all- tell-all
completely
book.
forgotten how like gorgeous this phone is when it's new.
It's a beautiful
Because my phone looked like trash.
It looks like jewelry.
It does not
Jewels.
look like jewelry.
The edge is like a fine piece. Oh, there it is. There's the gold. Can we
Yeah.
get
Yeah.
a? Can we
Yeah,
get
there's
a
a
close
different
up
one.
on
So
the gold?
that's-
scroll down.
Yeah, that's the one right
Yeah.
there.
Any
Yeah.
of these? That is not it. That is something else. I don't know what that is.
That's it.
Well, it's got a white. It's got a. It's. Do you think
Yeah,
it'll be
they
white
put it
and
in a
gold?
case.
Yeah,
You think
they're
it'll be
doing it
and
with
gold?
white and not black.
You don't think
for
so?
the glass? I think they're doing it with.
The the mock-ups I've seen have all been white.
Yeah,
I think black.
Here's
would be
here's
cool
my question: What beyond iOS
for Steeler
7,
fans.
right.
Good.
Poor,
Good.
Black and
sad.
gold.
Yeah.
Black and
Steeler
gold.
fans.
Yeah.
Black and yellow. As
yeah.
some people.
So here's
refer
my
to it.
question: What beyond iOS 7, which is obviously a big change, what can they do to this phone to make?
Well, they're going to add this fingerprint sensors with
Maybe.
the rumor. Well, if they do, I think that's an innovation. I think you can think about the things you could do with a phone if it's very secure, aka only your fingerprint. Like suddenly credit card purchases with a phone become like, I would imagine if they introduce a fingerprint sensor, they're going to say, and we have this new, we've extended, what is their thing, Passbook or whatever?
Yeah.
You can now include credit cards, and you can, do like some kind of pay process. I guess you couldn't because it doesn't have NFC
So
though.
that fingerprint sensor.
Maybe they'll add NFC?
No.
Well, how are you going to use? How would you utilize that? You have to scan something.
I mean, they're doing all
Seems
this
incredibly
crazy.
stupid.
They're doing all this crazy Bluetooth stuff.
Yeah, I mean, maybe
doing
there'll be some kind of new stations.
iBeacons. That's a real thing that they're doing. iBeacons.
Yeah.
Like
So
Bluetooth
I mean,
things
obviously security is an issue. This will change the game a little bit. It's not the first phone with a fingerprint.
No,
sensor
that's
on
what
it.
I was going to say.
There've actually been phones with fingerprint.
Yeah, but they've been
sensors.
terrible. Like
Of course.
the original Atrix, like it was hard to do. Like if they can make the fingerprint sensor where it's as simple as it is now to push the home button.
Yeah.
That would be amazing. Like any angle, don't have to swipe it.
They're
don't have to
gonna
whatever. If I
do
could just
that.
be like click.
Apple's not going to do anything where it's going to be for an average user somehow it's a huge pain in the ass.
Yeah.
Right.
Like that'll be the last thing that happens.
So the thing that I've heard the most about is the camera.
Well,
Right.
the camera's already the best smartphone camera.
Right.
Like painfully, excruciatingly insane that it's still the best smartphone camera. I mean, people say the Lumia 1020, but
So you don't think so?
I think the iPhone takes nicer photos personally. I mean, it takes a different quality of photo. It's like has a texture that to me feels more like a photo. There's still something like weirdly washed out about the 1020 that makes it look like a camera phone.
And the fact that the 1020 like leans so heavily into digital zoom makes those pictures look more digital.
Well, yeah, I can't take macro photos, which is like one of the things that I really enjoy doing with my phone is taking like weird close-ups.
Yeah.
And it's like, zoom later, but like that doesn't work. Your depth of field is different and like anyhow.
So the thing about the iPhone's camera is it's optimized for the way that people actually use cameras on their smartphones.
Right.
And so you click and you're sloppy and they just make sure it works for that kind of stuff. And the 1020 can be a better camera, but if you're using it like I'm taking a picture, I'm a photographer kind of person.
Right, which people aren't doing.
That's not how people use their phones.
And I've been like spending a lot of time thinking about this. I think the Moto. Actually, I have to say, like after using the 1 and the S4, which both have like capable cameras, the Moto X to me has been the most like reactive camera next to the iPhone in the sense that it doesn't hesitate,
Right.
and it typically gets shots that are in focus,
So-
and I don't have to keep like redoing it, which is great when you've got like a dog that you want to take a picture of.
Right.
But its low light performance is really bad in the sense that it just artifacts heavily whatever processing it's.
I have this one with the Google Play one, and it's this camera in any regular situation is like overexposes everything.
Really.
Yeah, but when it's
don't
dark
find
outside, it's great.
Yeah, it does work well at night. I still think it's slower than the Moto
But
X.
I was at the Intrepid and I was trying to take a picture of the space shuttle.
Yeah.
And like it was just like gleaming white. It was like a white.
It's weird.
Like,
Are you sure your exposure or something isn't tweaked up?
no, it's just stock. I'm not like screwing with it. I was just like, I'm going to take a picture, and I was like, wow, I can't expose the space shuttle.
That's odd.
Which is a problem that I find that I have all the time.
You can't expose
space shuttle.
overexposing the space shuttle. That's
By the way, the space shuttle's awesome.
it's a bedroom move. Overexposing the space shuttle. It's when Nilay's kicking it into high gear.
Look, I'm
Can you like go into
adventurous
the
man.
space shuttle? Can
No,
you
you can't. Not yet.
Where were you?
The Intrepid, the museum.
Is it here?
It's here.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Yeah.
What do you know about that?
It was really sad. Like I was walking into the space shuttle exhibit, and I was super excited, and I saw the giant "sponsored by Time Warner Cable" sign. And I was like, I hate you.
You immediately planted a bomb. And then,
Like, right away.
take this. But we should talk about television. Have we just been rambling for the last 10 minutes about,
Pretty much.
about,
Yeah, we
about
talked.
phones?
I think the iPhone rumor stuff is really interesting.
Yeah,
it's just I don't know.
Oh, we're talking about what's happening with the iPhone. So obviously
But
iOS
the
7
event's
is
coming,
iOS
right?
7 is a huge change for most users.
Yeah.
I mean they're going to see that as a totally refreshed operating system. With a bunch of new functionality and a bunch of new things to
Right.
learn. So that's a big deal. Explain this to me.
Yeah.
iPhone 5S.
Yeah.
Do we think that's the thing that's going to happen? They're not going to call a phone that looks just like this phone the
Yeah.
iPhone 6.
No.
No way.
iPhone 5S will be the flagship,
Yeah.
and then there will be an iPhone 5.
Maybe.
You're saying they might get rid of the 5.
I don't know. I don't know what they're going to do. I just
got a lot of fives
the
sitting
only
around.
thing
Yeah,
I
I doubt they
feel
get rid of the
confident
5.
about is that it will not be called the iPhone 5C. That's just a
Well,
guess. I have
that's
no
another,
sources on
you don't
that.
that's
like
another
iPhone 5C?
model. That makes a lot of sense to me.
You have a 5.
Here's the problem with that.
5S.
That doesn't,
No, no, no.
It doesn't make any sense.
But
Because
here's
then
the-
it
here's
seems like you
the-
have a 5, a 5C, and a 5S.
and that they're all equivalent like
Yeah.
speed. So here's the thing: iPhone 5S and iPhone 5 makes sense because it's like we added the S for speed or whatever. iPhone 5C is confusing because
'Cause
then
you
it's
added
like,
the C
well,
for cheap?
it's cheaper. No, it would be color, presumably. I definitely don't buy that that's the name,
Yeah.
but it has to have a name that's unique.
Right.
I'm guessing it's something like iPhone Color
Right.
Yeah, that's good. I bet that's it.
or iPhone C.
Right.
I think iPhone Color is like iPod Nano, iPad Mini. They're not like real creative with those names.
Right, but the thing is, like, I don't think they've ever done one of those, right? Where like iPhone Color is like.
Is it possible also that they're just going to take the touch design and add a cell?
I don't think they can do.
No, I mean we've seen the
we've
leaks
seen
of the
the
cases.
cases,
It's
yeah.
it's a little squarish.
Well, maybe we've seen a
iPhone-
leak of something.
iPhone polycarbonate
No, I mean iPhone Color makes the most sense.
is the second word of these names is always the size, right?
But it'll be the same
Nano,
size.
mini,
It'll be the same size. Presumably.
touch-
no,
touch-
didn't
touch
they
is
make
the
making it a
size,
lower
isn't it?
they made an
resolution screen.
iPod video back in the day.
Yeah.
Yeah.
iPod video.
What's up?
iPhone,
And by the way,
I
just
can get
check
down
out the,
with
check
iPhone
out the
Color.
naming convention. Ridiculously simple.
Yeah.
Ridiculously easy to think of. When you're in a store, like I want the color iPhone Color.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's the one I want.
I can buy it. I definitely just don't buy a 5C.
But 5S makes sense, and iPhone Color makes sense. But where does the 5 fit into that family?
And so, like,
is
how
the
do you-
5 where the 5 where the 4S is right now?
Yeah.
And
Yeah,
the
but
5C
but-
is like the top end. So 5 doesn't have fingerprint sensor, doesn't have the new color, doesn't have the new processor. Maybe the new one has like more RAM or something.
Well, no, 'cause
it's like, I mean, they're not going to talk about it, but it's faster and it's got, you can load this many more web pages and
Yeah.
whatever.
Better camera.
And fingerprint sensor. Let's say if that happens, there's
Right.
like a new camera. Oh, you said that. So 5 is what it is, and then 5, the iPhone Color, sorry,
Is lower.
is
So
like
5S,
4S.
color.
Is like what was the 4S CPU?
I don't know, whatever that one.
It's like equivalent.
Yeah.
Maybe a little
it'll
bit of a bump up.
Whatever it is, it's going to be cheaper than what it cost the CPU.
So
in the
where's
five.
the
But
camera?
here's where
That's
you, no,
like-
but
that's
here's the
the
thing. Here's where you cheap out on these things, right? Because if the goal is to make it cheaper so they can sell unsubsidized phones for
Right.
$279
Yeah.
in developing countries or
Yeah.
whatever they want to do, the places you cheap out are obvious, right? You cheap out in build, so you build it out of plastic instead of metal.
I think they just take the
You cheap
internals
out-
of the touch, don't they?
I think the processor is not actually like.
Isn't the touch the latest touch?
Yeah.
Faster than the iPhone 4S.
I don't believe so.
Yeah, I
It's,
think
it's
so.
like whatever the
Yeah.
But like the
point
places
is.
you
You
cheap
just
out
need
are
to touch and add a
build
cell
quality
radio
camera.
to it.
build quality camera and screen.
Yeah.
That's where you cheap out.
So
they'll have
what's
a
the screen
crappier
on the screen on the touch?
No, the
No,
screen on the touch is the same as the 5.
No,
So I'm saying-
the point of the color is that it has the 5 or the larger screen.
Yeah.
So it's going to have.
but
But
it's
the
a worse
touch, the
screen.
touch has
but it's
the-
not like.
Isn't
it's
there a
not
new
as
touch
pretty.
with larger screen?
Yes, but it's the same panel as the 5.
So, but do they get those panels cheap? They can put the screen in. The camera's worse. The build is worse.
The expensive part of the touch is the radio.
But they're already
Right.
But I'm saying that they've already got like the basic internals of this thing. They just need to add a cell radio. They're selling the touch at a relatively
Yeah.
discounted rate.
That's possible, but I'm saying they might.
And they've
they
already
might-
got like stockpiles of
They might
screens
update
and-
the processor from what's on the touch, or they might do something else to get
Sure.
something that's compatible
Whoa.
with the right radio
I was
or
like, what
whatever.
is that? Yeah.
It kind of doesn't matter. The point is that what's the price point they can hit unsubsidized.
the thing
with
is
it.
sitting right there.
No,
They can-
because you
you know-
can't build. You can't take the $299 touch and somehow sell it because they
Ooh,
need to sell this.
I
thing
just
for
had an
$300.
idea.
There's like these are
The
already too
iPod
expensive.
Touch, the iPod Touch mobile.
That's
Check it out.
Definitely not what they're.
And they sell it for the same price with a pay as you go cell plan.
Look,
No, they're not. They're not taking on
your fantasy
barrier
world is a
structures
rich
with
and
this.
vivid place.
And all they have to do is basically put a radio in there.
Apple is
But
not
that's
going to try and
the
take
thing
on
is
the carrier
already $299.
Well, it'll be a little bit of a loss leader. Well, they
But-
don't have loss leaders.
Yeah, the touch is
But at
already
this point,
the cheapest touch with
don't
no
think,
camera.
You don't think that there's any room for a profit margin there?
The cheapest touch with no camera,
No
16,
camera.
16 gigs of storage.
They make one without
is
a camera?
$229.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's like not
So what's the one with the camera?
the one. The 32 gig with the camera is $299.
There you go, $299.
Well, I mean, this is going to be
But how
like
do you hit that?
16.
Subsidized, it's free.
No, but you can't hit $299.
Well, over
with the
in a
profit
year's
margin.
time, you
The
have
whole
to imagine
point of
the
this product is to be
some of those
cheaper.
components have come down in cost
Maybe.
over a year's time.
My guess is what they're going
I'm
to
saying
do.
take the majority of the guts from the touch, stick it in a new casing, call it the iPhone 5, put a radio in it, and call it the iPhone 5C.
Yeah, they could do that,
There's
or
your
they could
product.
update something. That
Even if it was
doesn't
$350,
make a difference.
they'd add the $50. Like, let's add $50 for a cell radio.
Mm-hmm.
Cheap plastic casing, that takes the price down. They probably end up somewhere close to the same place.
Right.
They're not making the metal casing.
Yeah. I kind of
You're
actually
probably in the vicinity.
don't care what the processor is. What like the camera's going to be worse. It's going to be bad.
Right.
The build quality is going to be like better than you expect, but still not as good as the iPhone 5S or even the iPhone 5. Like the thing that's interesting is what price point can they hit unsubsidized around the rest of the world? I don't care that it's $0 in AT&T.
If they can do
I care
it,
what it costs in China.
do you
and
think
Europe.
that 350 is low enough?
I think that it would be better if it were lower, but that's
So the Touch
in the
has
right
a worse
range.
processor, by the way. The Touch
Fine,
has an
that's
A5.
fine. It doesn't matter.
The 5 has a
That's
A6.
perfect. That's perfect for then they can tell you that's why you want to spend the money on the iPhone 5S or the 5. But if you want
You don't
to get your
you don't
kids a
think the
phone,
5S will have an A7?
if you want to get your what's the latest? What does it have
A6.
now? I think the iPhone 5S will have an A7.
Yeah.
I think that the 5 will have an A6, and the other phone will have an A5.
Yeah.
And they're all capable of running. Obviously, the Touch can run all modern software, else they
And
wouldn't sell it.
They all send money to Samsung.
Right. And like, but the point is, that makes perfect sense to me. They already have built this device. They just
Yeah.
need to add a cell radio to it. Their price point is within striking distance. They
So
put
you think it's the same specs as the Touch?
I think the cost of the casing comes down a little bit. The
Yep.
price of the radio goes up a little bit. They meet somewhere
Well,
in the
cost
middle.
of memory goes down, cost of camera might.
Right.
Yeah.
A
Whatever.
32
Yeah.
gigabyte.
I'm just saying, here's
I
the
mean, if they could
places
sell
where-
unsubsidized a $350 iPhone in colors, a lot of people would probably buy it.
Yeah.
yeah.
And if it was sold
My
subsidized for free,
concerns-
even more people.
So that's that path.
Yeah.
My concern is what they're going to do is they're going to cheap out on things the way companies usually cheap out on things, and they're going to ship a crappier screen, a crappier camera, and like I think that's like the bad way. For them to
But that's
that's
what a
like-
cheap phone is. I mean, that's what the iPhone 4S is. It's a worse camera. It's a worse
do.
screen.
No, but it's not. It's a smaller screen. It's not a
Yeah.
worse screen.
But the
right?
panel on the Touch is not
The panel on the Touch
inferior.
is exactly the same.
Yeah,
It's
so
not an
that's-
inferior
that's his
panel. That's
concern.
what I'm
Right, so that's what I'm
saying.
saying. You have two paths. You can either take
But no
the
one
Touch
makes
and build
the
it
screen
up.
is the screen. They're just saying like we're keeping the Retina display. We're keeping this. It's the same size screen as the big.
I'm saying that's one.
That's
one
the path
option.
they take.
I think that's one potential.
You're
path.
suggesting that they would take the path of we're giving you a smaller screen or a worse.
Or we're taking the path of we're going to put an A6 in it to keep it in line with the 5, and we're going to cheap out in these other places, right? Like there's
Well,
a way, there's another
wherever-
path here which sucks.
but wherever they end, well, does it?
So it,
I
you
mean,
know, it's
crappier
old.
screens are crappier screens. Like that's the sort of thing that like
Right. What's
A crappier
funny here
screen,
is
hold on, a crappier screen is a crappier screen to you and me, but to the majority of consumers, they see it's got the Retina display resolution, and it looks
Right.
like as good as, or if not better than most of the other. I mean, compare it to a Pentile display on the Droid, like Max or whatever.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like people are going to look at those side by side and be like, yeah, the iPhone looks better. They're going to have better quality control probably.
Right.
And so like, what were you going to say?
I was
I'm
just
just
saying
saying it doesn't matter.
It's funny, like how this conversation is so like, what's going on about Apple? Because it's been so long since Apple has made a low, thin margin product that we've cared about. Like it's been
Yeah.
a while since an iPod that mattered that had like, thin margins. It's been a while since we've had to talk about Apple making a product on the cheap, but still making it good.
I can tell you this.
my God, iOS 7.
I can tell you this, and it's something I haven't. It's
gotten way better.
I can tell you this, and it's something I'd never written about because I simply didn't have the information I needed.
Yeah.
But I can tell you that I personally have seen someone very close to Apple using a device as a phone that looked like, basically looked like a Touch.
I think he got trolled.
No, I don't think so. I don't think so. The conversation I had with this person was definitely not a trolling conversation. It was like, this is something that may exist somewhere that
Yeah.
I'm using.
Maybe.
I mean, maybe you know something I don't.
And then he took off his Tim Cook mask.
He was like, it's me, Tim Cook. Hey,
Oh
man.
God, Tim Cook in a Tim Cook mask. By the way,
No,
that
but
should be
I'm
a
just, saying,
thing.
I'm just saying, I think
That
that
Bryan
I think
Cranston
I
walking
think
around
it's-
in the Heisenberg mask.
Yeah.
that
Yeah.
should be a thing.
Yeah.
Celebrities walking around in masks of themselves should be a real thing. That happens all
I'm
the
just
time.
saying that I believe that at some point Apple was or is testing something that is akin to a Touch with a cell radio.
Oh, I wouldn't doubt that at all.
Yeah, I mean, why wouldn't they? But I just think like, I don't know. This whole situation. So here's my next question, because I think
lay it on me.
so. They traditionally do the phone and the iPod Touch together.
Mm-hmm.
They have. Do they also do the watch there? There's a watch like.
My understanding is based on the Wall Street Journal, who has a direct line to Tim Cook's brain, that they are not planning on doing the watch at this event.
Okay.
It's a lot of stuff to take in. I mean,
Yeah.
honestly, if you do the watch here, you're like, check out these awesome new phones, and you're like, but also we have this watch, and suddenly you're asking people to spend like $500 on new products.
Yeah, and Apple's never done that.
Not like a bunch of new
Was
products.
it last year? They
like,
did the whole line at once last year.
Yeah, but you get a touch for the kids. You get a...
Well, okay. Let me lay this scenario
last year they
on
did
you.
like...
Hang on.
Okay.
They do the iPhones, and then Apple's worried that people don't think they can innovate. Apple's worried that people don't think that Tim Cook can,
just
impress
deliver.
Did you
people
see
and
the
drive it
Reuters
home.
thing today?
And so they use the watch as Tim Cook's first one more thing.
Yeah. No,
I don't think they're not going to
he's
do one
never
more
going to
thing.
say that
Never
phrase.
again.
They're not going to do one more
All right.
thing,
Never
but
again.
there could be, something at the end of it.
Maybe
want
Tim,
it,
Tim Cook's one more thing is, oh, by the way.
Or, I mean, look, they did this with the Pro, but here's the thing. They did this with the Pro at WWDC where they were like, let us show you what we're capable of.
Yeah.
But
Right.
we're not going to give you price points. We're not going to give you release date. We're just going to say, like, this thing's coming. It's amazing. I mean, they did this with the original iPhone.
Yeah.
Here it is. It's amazing. We're not going to, like, show you every single thing about it. And we're going to put it in a case for you to stare at. I could definitely see them doing something, but it would probably be Phil Schiller. It probably would not be Tim.
Yeah.
Right.
I mean, I don't think Tim Cook wants to be the guy
But
who
why would they
introduces
do
the
that?
So did you
Why would
see
they,
the,
they're not really afraid of the Samsung Gear, are they?
Yeah.
They're
So
not-
by the way,
they're-
that's real.
They're not
The
afraid.
Galaxy Gear is a real
Galaxy
product.
Gear. Why are they calling it? Oh,
Isn't
'cause it's-
Galaxy Gear some kind of type of fighting game?
It should be.
Yeah.
I think it is. Can
That's
someone tell me?
definitely like a Genesis game.
Galaxy Gear sounds like,
It-
but I
it's a-
want to play it, whatever it is. But
What's the cartoon where someone said Keen Gear all the time?
I don't know.
Damn it.
That's
Was it
not
Rescue
right at
Rangers? I think it was Rescue Rangers.
Whoa.
what's happening in the
I really made
Nerds
everyone.
in the other room
what
have
was
stirred to
happening?
action.
Something very strange just happened in the
Yeah.
in the control.
I'm gonna
room.
find this
So
out.
this is like, so here's the thing. So this
I
is-
hate these chairs. Can I just tell you how much I hate these chairs? There's no comfortable seating position here.
No, it was Gizmo Duck from Darkwing Duck.
Gizmo Duck.
Yes.
All right. Oh, I remember that.
Yeah.
Right.
Does that have something to do with Galaxy Gear?
No,
Yeah.
so here's the thing with the Galaxy Gear. So there was...
I'm serious. Can we get new chairs in here? These things are the worst.
You're cool. You're doing well.
I'm not cool, okay?
So Chris Ziegler, Scoot Machine,
Ziegler.
found out.
Yes.
Galaxy Gear.
Yes.
Not actually a phone unto itself.
Z-Power.
Which people thought it was going to be.
Right.
But connects to a phone.
Obviously.
And it will be out soon.
Obviously, a watch is an accessory, not the thing.
It's
Is that Gizmo Gear? Gizmo Gear?
That
It's Gizmo Duck.
Yeah, it's
Gizmo
actually
Duck.
Is he called
according,
Gizmo Gear?
according to the Darkwing Duck Wikia.
I
it
love
was
Darkwing Duck.
actually not Gizmo Duck himself who said Keen Gear. It was Goslin.
I don't know who that
Don't know
is.
who that is.
Really
We're down
confused.
a rabbit hole of Darkwing Duck trivia that should never have been approached. Getting a lot of Snapchats
Just a lot of
and
action
Hangouts going on.
on this phone right there.
I forgot this had a Hangouts app.
It's good.
Oh, I haven't logged into Snapchat in forever.
I
This is gonna be
God, I
bad.
hate the notifications so bad. I mean, looking at those makes me so angry.
Yeah.
Just thinking about how to.
I mean,
how
I'll
need
say
to make-
this.
Look, I booted up my iPhone the other day. Like I'm like, I'm going to start using iOS, 7 again. I got to see the latest beta and whatever. And man, just like the screen lights up every 5 seconds because I get so many tweets and like emails. It's like this couldn't possibly be the best way to do it. I mean, it makes me like really love the Moto X notification thing. It just makes me think like this is a way to do it. Like this is great. Like it's only at least showing
notifications are
something
not
really
funny.
minimal.
Yeah. Like
No, it's like the
bad,
whole
yeah.
screen is lit up.
Yeah.
With your notification. It's painful.
Well, I want my watch to light up.
Well, okay, but that's the thing I was going to say is the watch has got to be, to me, it's if you have an iPhone, you're going to want one of these. It's not going to be get one of these instead of an iPhone, right? I'm not
Definitely
talking about the
not.
Samsung thing. I'm talking about Apple's
The Samsung
watch.
thing, let me just put it out there. The Samsung thing is going to be a huge failure. Like, I don't...
Nobody
It's gonna
wants,
come
nobody
out,
cares.
it's gonna,
Look,
collapse,
it's
and
gonna
Samsung
be,
won't
It's
support
going to
it.
be really challenging.
They're going to call it the S Watch.
It's going to be really the Swatch.
Yeah.
It's going to be really challenging for Apple to convince people that they should go buy a $200 or $100 accessory. It can't be more than $200.
No way.
If it's more than $200, it's. I just don't see anybody going for it. No. I mean, there are I like watches, and I've bought a lot of cheap watches. Like buying a more expensive watch is a major life decision. So here's the thing: it's an accessory, right? Mm-hmm. And it's got to be cheap enough. I don't see it doing all the functions of a phone.
Yeah.
This is why they haven't
You're
fixed
wearing a Pebble.
notifications.
Tell me
This is
about
why
it.
they haven't fixed notifications in iOS, because they're going to be like, oh, I'm so frustrated by notifications. So I'm just going to have to buy one of those watches to deal with it.
Yeah,
but
that's
but
weird.
your watch.
Yeah.
Tell
but
me
your
about your
watch.
watch.
But your
Tell me about
watch.
the Pebble right here,
Your
the
watch lighting up.
orange.
Does that fix your problem?
Like, I don't have a problem. I get notifications. They show up on my watch. I look at them. I dismiss them. It's pretty great. I don't do email. I do
Why don't you
everything
go-
but email.
Maybe Apple can hire you to do
Yeah.
the
Yeah.
commercial for the iWatch.
Yeah, I do weather, and I have got like a time zone thing, and then email comes, or not email, but notifications come in, and I look at them.
Yeah. And you
It's
love
nice.
it.
Yeah, I think it's great.
There's
There's only one problem with this is that I hate the way it looks.
Oh yeah, it's
and I'm gonna hate the way the Apple Watch
I got the
looks.
orange one, and it's big and chunky and
plastic. And I hate the way
and,
like the Nano looks when people put it in a watch strap.
Dan got a new band. Dan Siegel got a new band, and that made it way better.
I've tried to buy different bands, and they all don't help.
Did he get like a band like this, like a NATO strap?
Yeah, I think so.
That would be kind of cool.
So
maybe.
I've heard that the guys at Pebble are pretty excited about iOS 7. That there's a bunch of stuff that makes it work better with an iPhone than it did before, than it does now. Because right now it doesn't work very well at all.
Well, it's clear that there's now a very high level of interest. I think Google Glass is part of this. The watch thing is part of this.
Wearable stuff.
This high level of interest.
What did Tim Cook say, D? There's intense interest.
An area of intense interest.
The wrist is an area.
The wrist, yeah. But like, here's the thing. The point is, like, people want to stop looking at their phones. That's the thing. Like, how do we get you to stop looking at your phone and start like being less distracted by like the notifications and the blinking lights and all that stuff, which is great. And like that, maybe they'll cook up something really good. My biggest problem is, what is this? This is in our forums.
Oh, yeah. People are crazy in our forums.
Oh yeah, if it has circular face and looked like an actual regular watch, that would be incredible.
I'd be pretty excited about
if
that.
it looked like a metal watch with a circular face that you could switch it to like a traditional watch. This is my dream concept. Yes. I would buy this. Let me tell you something. Hold on. Can I just say something?
These watches look.
By the way, this is something I talked about. This exact design, like on a Vergecast. I would buy this so fast.
Yeah,
it wouldn't even be funny. Not even funny. Can you put like a? But what would be cool is if you can put like a chronograph on the front of it. You know, like a traditional.
For all your diving.
No, but like that would be cool that you could put like you could put different actual watch faces.
When's the last time that we've seen a proper circular LCD on a mass consumer device?
No. You know what it is?
A mass
I know what it is.
Okay.
The Nest thermostat is the only mainstream shipping product that's circular LCD.
Yeah, but Apple, this is the kind of thing. This is exactly where Apple would come in and say, "We can afford to do this.
Yeah,
we have the technology.
We've come up
to do
with
it."
some crazy new manufacturing process.
I'm going to say this. I'm going to tell you right now, Apple, whoever, you make that watch that concept of the circular, standard-looking like metal watch with a circular face that can do like app stuff, but can also go to like a traditional watch. That is a sellable product. Mm-hmm. That to me is a real, like, you look at that and you go like, you can put the kind of bands you put on a regular watch. It looks like a regular watch, but when you want something more, it becomes that, and that's really powerful. Yeah. Because I think look, watch design has not changed dramatically over hundreds and hundreds of years. I mean, it's really been a traditional, and I think it's going to remain. I think there's a certain look that is aesthetically pleasing. Because that, I get that you're into it, but look at Nilay's watch is like pretty funky and modern,
way
but
better
it's
looking.
Much really closer to like a traditional
watch. My favorite
watch.
watch is still my old phosphor watch, the e-ink watch that was curved. Yeah. Like this is still pretty.
I still like. I really like looking down and seeing like the traditional.
I used to go buy
face.
I used to go buy a new watch every year.
But I definitely do this when I'm checking weather. Yeah. For some reason, I'm like, nope, that's not going to work.
Look, so you don't think they're going to do the watch at this event? Or you think they will? Because I think there's another event in October where they do the new iPad, right?
If
that
they do,
feels very natural to me.
Do you think the watch is a holiday product? That's the only question you have to answer. You really think they'll be selling the watch in November?
I think if they don't, they're stupid.
How are they going to get developers developing for it fast
enough?
I don't
even need to get developers developing for it. They didn't need developers to develop for the iPhone.
Yeah, they could totally keep it closed.
Also, you know what they need to do is like definitely Samsung will like squirt out a watch for the holidays. Like it'll just
squirt
happen.
out. What if their watch is circular and awesome?
it just won't be. There's just no way that's gonna happen.
So I think
seriously, chances 1 to 100 that Samsung's watch will be awesome.
No, very low, very low. I mean, it's almost non-existent.
Yeah.
No chance there. Then it'll be awesome.
Yeah,
very low.
It'll be awesome.
Chances that it will be a watch.
Here's the thing about the watch is it seems like a lot of it's going to be software design. A lot of it's going to be like how well the software gets pulled off. And
well, then it's then 1.2.
Yeah,
I mean,
so obviously not great stats.
Our watch has 100 toggles on the front.
So here's
has
the thing.
A pen,
and it makes a little bloop noise every time you touch it.
So. Like a water drop
They're
noise.
Gonna do it.
I know.
Yeah.
Designed by watches found in nature.
Natural watches.
I don't think there are watches
falling off of trees like acorns.
So
pick them up off the ground and hand them to you.
Poor Samsung.
So you're saying, like, look, let's get real, guys.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Enough of this tomfoolery.
Okay.
You're saying.
I think they're going to do the iPhone and the watch in September. I
Wow.
think they got a splat. Like,
I mean, that's
look here. Did you see the Reuters thing about Tim Cook today?
The
They
story.
did Reuters did a big profile of Cook.
Okay.
And they're like, he's a no nonsense manager. He can like kill you with a sentence. And you know, he's delegating all of his design. Right, like he's at the weekly meeting where Steve Jobs looked at every new feature of the iPhone is gone, and Cook is delegating that away.
No kidding, because he doesn't know anything about products.
I think that's like, and then
Tim Cook doesn't know anything.
A couple
about
weeks ago, this stuff where Carl Icahn was tweeting and the stock went up, like, and then somebody else was like, I don't know, and the stock like back and forth.
Yeah,
I think Apple's lost control of this narrative a little bit.
Yeah.
Right. I think them coming at me like, here's the new phone, here's the cheaper phone for the emerging markets that we're trying to get, and then here's the watch. Like, here's our big new product category that you said we couldn't do.
Yeah.
Is like, that's a big deal for them. That gets them their narrative.
Okay, I don't disagree, but the rumors thus far have said there have been no leaks, no nothing about the watch, which could possibly suggest that idea of we're going to show you this prototype in a glass case, and this is going to be available next year.
Right.
I don't.
Because there's nothing to cannibalize.
I don't see them ramping up production. They would be ramping now for a holiday release. There's no indication from anybody anywhere that is happening. The only indication we have is like a rumor from the Journal, I believe, that said it's going to be launched next year.
Right.
So all they could do is show a prototype of it and say it'll be available first quarter of,
But I think that gets them
2014.
Unless you believe.
No, if it looks great and they show some of its functionality and it's awesome,
so
that gets them over that hump.
Here's the my God. So here's the other
seriously.
just stop.
Cool notification.
Just stop talking to me.
Yeah.
But here's the other option.
Yeah.
The iPhone is enough at this event.
Yeah.
And maybe like new Macs, right? New Macs that have Retina or Haswell processors and Retina displays.
I guess.
They did that last year.
Sure,
right?
why not? Okay.
Whatever. We got a bunch of new stuff.
I mean, laptops don't get people excited.
Right, but they do a bunch. You can't just be like, and here's the new iPhone.
Right, no. They're going to
right?
run through their numbers. They're going to say, we've got some exciting announcements for you today. Here's so-and-so to talk about.
Mavericks is out. Like,
yeah, Mavericks is we release the end of the, to this end of the day or whatever.
Yeah. So great. And
here's some new laptops.
And then new iPhone. And that's enough for this event. And then October is a new iPad and a new case and a mini with a Retina display is like not enough for that event either.
I think that sounds like that could be the watch.
That's where you drop the watch.
That feels more appropriate to me. Or, it's possible they could have some ultra stealth like plans between this event and the next one to like start ramping up production on this watch, and then they announce it there and they say it's available, November 1 or something, and all of a sudden like you've got an insane holiday
and
product.
then they're like, and then there's also a TV.
No, that's
Gene Monster explodes.
Gene Monster literally falls to his
feel like
knees.
Gallagher. They'll have plastic sheeting that they'll deliver to people
because of Gene Monster's head. Just I mean, that's possible. I agree with your premise that they want to get control of this thing.
They need to get control of this narrative by saying like, on Tim Cook's watch, we like went from zero to
made a watch.
Zero to hero.
Yeah.
They're not from zero. They're just like one of the most successful companies of all time. They're from like incredibly ridiculously successful to slightly more successful.
No, but they need to take a product from like didn't exist, wasn't on the radar to like big piece of Apple's puzzle.
Right.
And I think that's an important thing for Tim Cook to accomplish. For not only his
No one's disagreeing with you. No one here. Everybody here is
keep talking, man.
Yeah, everybody here is in a
stop.
heated agreement with you. There's your guy.
I hate everything.
Look, Gizmo dumped zero to hero. That's insane. That is. Don't even know what's going on.
Really
here.
coming together.
This is messed up.
It was a really great spin-off from Darkwing Duck.
Wow.
Anyhow, I did love Darkwing Duck. You know what's great? The TurboGrafx 16 game, Darkwing Duck. Really good.
Theme song from Darkwing Duck is in my head right now.
How's it go?
I'm not going to sing it.
Come on.
Just
a little taste.
No.
The chorus.
You want to talk about TV for a minute?
Not really.
Do you want to talk about Internet.org? Internet.org?
We can take calls.
What?
Oh my God.
We can take calls?
That sounds like a terrible idea.
Calls.
Oh my
Yes,
God.
anyone can call us. I don't know what the phone number is.
I'm just going to.
Oh, there it is on the screen.
I'm just chilling.
Yeah. Let's take calls for a little
Let's
bit.
take some calls. Let's do it. The number is 1-888-418-4074. You choose the topic. We choose whether or not to address it. I'm going to sit back up. Don't adjust the camera for that.
Can I tweet this number? Is that a good idea?
Probably not. No, it's going to be totally prank called forever. Do we have any calls? Your topic.
I mean, we're broadcasting the number live.
Yeah.
Yeah, but most people on Twitter aren't watching this who follow you.
He's writing in all caps right now. I think you should let him do it.
I tweeted it.
1-888.
Do we have a single caller yet?
No calls. 1-888-418-4074. We're off the rails. Please join us.
Everything's going nuts on this. Can we watch this Titanfall
If you don't
trailer?
call in, I am going to rant about Mark Zuckerberg and internet.org, and you don't want to hear that.
Look, Zuckerberg wants to give give internet to the poor.
By the way,
does anybody notice Facebook?
Anybody notice I did not complain about my hair today?
Yeah.
Because I hairsprayed it.
Yeah.
It's like a frozen temple of hair.
You should read Ben's thing.
Read Ben's thing.
Can we watch the Titanfall trailer while we're waiting for calls to come in?
While we're waiting for calls, you lazy bastards, here's some.
Call us about
Here's Titanfall.
This game looks insane.
My Moto X is the best color ever.
Here's Titanfall, which we're told by Vlad Savov is the best game ever in the history of video games.
Wasn't Chris Plant telling you that it's awesome yesterday too?
Yes.
From Polygon?
Yes.
This game looks amazing.
I don't know. It does look kind of cool.
Yeah.
All right, let's see what
Video
happens
games,
here.
man.
I want to know. All I want to know about
these
game
graphics
is,
just look like a video game though. Like here's the thing. I expect more than this from my next gen console. It just looks like a video game.
Can I play as one of the founding members of Wolf's Dragoons in this game?
Yeah.
Okay.
Did you ever play Mech Warrior?
By the way, if
that
you
was
got
my jam,
dude, that's the joke I just made.
Oh, yeah.
You know what game I used to love is Armored Core.
I knew that there was.
Remember
I'm
Armored Core?
deep into BattleTech fan fiction, by the way.
Wow. Okay. Just. Okay, we have someone on the phone who would like to discuss the materials of the iPhone 5C or iPhone Color. Sir or madam, you're on the line with the Vergecast. Tell us your name and...
the Verge account tweeted our phone number.
Oh, that's a mistake. Tell us your name and tell us what you know about the iPhone.
Way to go, Sam.
Nothing here. Got nothing.
They told us we could take calls.
You told us we could
lied.
take calls, but it was a filthy lie from the control room.
The control room is literally
hello?
On fire.
Really? Yeah.
Oh, there you are. Hi. How are you?
What's up?
Hi.
Hi, I'm Steve. I have a quick question.
Yes.
How do you think they're going to make a plastic iPhone if all the previous iPods for like how many years have been consistently made out of metal? How do you justify them degrading down to
Let me tell you how they justify it, okay? Phil Schiller gets on stage and he says something like, we've been looking at different materials, or they have a video with Johnny Ive. We've been looking at different materials and we found this incredible polycarbonate that no one's ever used before.
Except for Nokia.
That no one's ever used before. We're the first. We pioneered a new technique to create the hardest, densest material that you can make that is not metal. Or something like that. And they tell you how incredible their polycarbonate blend is and how beautifully designed their polycarbonate shells are and how the industrial strength of their polycarbonate.
Oh, yeah, there'll be a video.
That's how they don't say, hey, we're going to plastic. They say, we've created the material that allows us to produce these at a lower price so more people can have the iPhone experience, but it's just as tough and just as resistant
and they'll start by showing us
our
the black
steel
one.
backs. Yes.
Yeah. And they'll say, and
fair enough.
it comes in
But
colors.
if it's going to be plastic, do you think it'll be glossy or matte? Because the glossy really worked out really well for the GS4.
Yeah.
So I don't know if it'll work out.
I don't
so
think
well for
Apple's
the,
taking any
iPhone
cues from the
5C.
GS4. I don't think there's one part of Apple that's like, that worked for Samsung. Let's do
I
the
think
same
Apple
thing.
will be doing something more of a matte in more of a matte
Hey, did yours
finish.
get dirty?
they were glossy
I've
with
only had it for a
Because
day.
the 3G.
Chris's Moto X is a matte back, and it was.
I've only had it for a
filthy
day.
after
Okay, I don't know.
Well,
I think
yours
to answer your question, and then we should. I don't know if you have any others, but I think that they're probably going to go more of a matte, sort of somewhere a semi-gloss, I might say. But who knows? Because maybe they won't even make one out of that type of material. Maybe they'll do what we were talking about with the Touch. Maybe there was a report today. Reuters or Quartz or somebody was speculating they might use liquid metal to do the back. Who knows? I mean, it's a crapshoot. It's a question mark, but. But I think that if they do use something that is a plastic-like material or plastic, they're going to tell you that it is an incredible innovation and no one before has done anything like this.
Of course.
That's why you want it.
No one's ever done anything like this.
It'll be
Totally, fair
polymegacarbonate.
Yeah. Anything else, Steve?
No, thanks. Have a nice day.
Okay, thanks. Bye. Next caller would like to talk about the back-to-school guide.
My headset just got way crappier.
Caller, you're on
Mine
the air.
got way louder.
Hello.
Yeah.
Caller, you're on the air. What's your name and what is your question?
Hey, this is Ben, and I was interested in more about that new Verge article about the back-to-school article. That's a really cool-looking thing. How you guys put that together, or something to that extent.
You want to know more about the creation. So it's HTML5, responsive, adaptive design,
JavaScript, CSS,
JavaScript, CSS. Yeah, there's a bunch of stuff that I don't understand
web
at all.
words.
Web. It's all like fancy schmancy native HTML5 stuff. But so this was built by the Verge design team. Scott Kellum, James Che was involved. I mean, a bunch of people were involved. The photos were shot by Michael Shane, and who's on our team.
So here's what happened, right? So I mean, from a creative perspective,
yes,
like if you're a tech publication, you should do a back to school guide.
Yeah,
right?
every year,
you should do a holiday guide.
We did it. We did it when we were at Engadget, and we did one last year here, and we were like, how can we do a cool when
these suck to write.
When you read in a magazine, you read a back to school thing. It's like it's cool, like the layout. There's photography. There's beautiful photography, nice layout. Like it's actually like functional and usable. And we were like, what can we do better here? And so we just started brainstorming on it. I think I had this idea of what if we had people kind of like laying down and all of the products from the guide were scattered around them, and then we took that to our product team, our designers, and they started coming up with these ideas. We put together a budget for it, in terms of getting models and doing this photo shoot and getting we had a stylist, and so I mean this basically like a lot of these are. I mean, these images are somewhat composite, but these are actual shoots that happen. Like the people were laying on these backdrops, and we arranged all of these. So like this is actual like real photography. We didn't just like place these things in there. Right. It's built like, I mean, if you look at Polygon or SB Nation, our sister sites, they're all built using responsive HTML5 design. That's where the Verge is headed. We just happened to get like. We were designed before we went all responsive for our sites. And so we're actually doing that piecemeal on the site, piece by piece. You'll see our new video hub that we just launched is responsive. This is the first of many features that'll be responsive, kind of, it gives us the flexibility to do more of like a magazine layout. Right. And really, in a way, it's almost like an app. Like it functions very much like an app. And yeah, so like, I mean, basically, the very minute technical details, I would not be the guy to ask.
I'm actually inspecting Elements right now.
Of course you are.
It's as pretty as the front of it is.
Yeah, but Scott Kellum did a lot of the back end.
Steve McKinney, by the way, is our engineer who like helped him.
Yeah,
and I mean, the idea really came across to me that it was supposed to look like a magazine. I mean, it really does look like a magazine article. And I also wanted to say, business casual shorteralls is definitely a great look this fall. One of the pictures, I think you guys should all wear business casual shorteralls.
I mean, look, so let me just tell a story about shorteralls. It's not really a story.
Sure.
It's just yesterday I saw an Instagram from Becky in my neighborhood in Brooklyn of a woman wearing shorteralls that were covered in Bart Simpson heads.
That is awesome.
And she was like, I don't understand. Like, she was like, where do you even purchase this product?
I understand. I want it. Not only do I understand.
I'm going to send this to...
So basically, and maybe Scott or somebody, maybe the product guys might want to write a little bit on how its creation came about. But that is cool. But the one thing is, for us, this is part of an ongoing plan and process of creating better web content and thinking about the web from like a standpoint of if you could recreate some of these experiences that we love from our favorite publications, if you could make that experience for the web, what would it look like? What would it feel like? And how do you do it? And they did put a lot of time into this, but I'll say, a lot of the time was spent sort of prepping it was on the back end prepping for these what we call chromeless. They're chromeless layouts. They don't have like the chrome of the site around it. And this is the kind of thing that we really want to do more of. This is where we see the future of feature layout and feature design going.
And like our company is like also a tech company. Right? Yeah, they're like building the stuff that nobody's ever built for the web before, and like we're just like driving. The whole idea is that editorial drives that forward, and they have ideas and they can drive the editorial.
It's cool. It's great. It's just great to be able to talk to the product team and to our designers and say we want to do this, and then they go make it real. Yeah. So all credit and props to them.
The fact that you guys are coming out with like a snowfall type thing every so every couple weeks.
Man.
Yeah.
You want to incite some rage, man.
Well, I don't want
tell Josh
I
he's
don't
doing
want to be
snowfall
I don't want to
stuff.
be a jerk or anything, but we
Okay, no, I'm not trying to be a jerk.
No, but
It's really, it's just cool.
I thank you. I just the people say like snowfall, like wow, that's snow, but like we actually were doing that kind of layout way before snowfall, and in fact, a lot of other people, well, not a lot, but there was a handful of other people. ESPN had some really impressive feature work they'd done. That was, everybody mentions snowfall now because the New York Times has a big ass footprint, but like we actually have been doing this since we launched in November of 2011, and so it's nice that people are now has become part of like the native language of the web, that people understand that these kinds of features are happening, which is really cool. But like it is like people say snowfall, and it's like, snowfall came after years of other people doing the hard work. No, I'm not just saying us, like lots of other people. Atavis done really amazing layout, and there's snowfall. Anyhow, but thank you for your call, and thank you. I'm glad that you like it, and by the way, like very open and very welcoming to any feedback from you guys, like forums or email or anything. Like tell us what you think about things like this, because I'm very interested to know what their take on it is. And this is first shot at one of these chromeless layouts. You'll see a lot more in the future. Thanks. Phone accessories other than watches. Okay, caller, you're on the air. What is your name? And oh my god! And what would you like to talk about in regards to phone accessories? Just contain your excitement. Sorry. Thomas Ricker just walked in the room, and it's a lot of excitement for us. Go ahead.
He's just chugging a beer.
Sorry,
in the corner.
I'm pretty excited myself. I'm a really big fan of you guys. Anyway,
thank you.
So I was wondering, how long do you think it takes until they start expanding phone accessories to other things you carry, like wallets, jewelry, like stuff you just wear, until it expands into everything you sort of wear?
That's an interesting idea, actually. I mean, you could definitely do a necklace with a screen on it,
Right?
which actually would be really cool.
No, I'm not talking
I don't think it
about
needs to have
hold
a
on.
screen.
I'm talking about
Go ahead.
I'm talking about like a wireless headset. No, I mean headphones that may be connected to your necklace or something, like, because now there's a lot of sensories you like wear, like on Top Shelf. They talk about like how Nike fuel bands and everything just tracks everything, and how sort of everything just comes together, and they all go from your phone or something, and then like everything tracks and does things.
Oh, so like the necklace could be like a heart monitor.
Right.
Or, right?
Yeah, maybe something like that. Like everything you carry
becomes a connected,
like
some weird
phone
connected device,
And then the NSA gathers it.
And then they have every piece of data.
Maybe,
look, so I think that is actually like
jackets that
people
like,
have been
sort of synced with your phone, and now you have controls on your jacket or something. I don't even know. Like,
so that stuff has been out.
That would be really
the
cool.
jackets with buttons.
What about HTC's
the rhyme
light,
charm,
the charm.
So
we call it the tentacle.
This idea has been around
that'd be
for
so cool. Like, if you could have that.
For a long time, and I think the notion that like your phone is like contains all your storage, contains all your data, is the thing that connects to like whatever network, and then everything connects to the phone as the hub. That's like very obviously where we're headed. Right. And I think that the question is, A, how do you keep the battery life of the phone up without just doing
and these devices,
and all these devices have batteries, and B, like what is like Fitbits are really like a good example, right? The Fitbit has like a constant utility to you. It's really unobtrusive. People have them, they wear them all day long, and they like love them, right? A watch is like you have to make the case for like wearing a watch all the time.
That's true. I mean, not everybody wears a watch.
Hang on.
With glass,
you do. It is true, but you also have to make the case for wearing a Fitbit.
Right.
But the case for a Fitbit is like it's super low impact, and if you wear it all the time, you get this clear benefit. Like, here's what you get.
Same with a watch. Same with a watch.
Yeah. No, with a watch,
clear benefit from a watch.
The same people that are like, why you have
different.
to convince people to wear a watch, or don't need to be convinced to wear like a ring of plastic around.
Right. I'm just saying,
the watch
like, it's
just needs
slightly
to have a tiny little feature that makes it better, and then
I think
whatever.
the wrist mounted Fitbit stuff and like the fuel band, I think those are harder sells than like the Fitbit that like goes in your pocket and is like not obtrusive. At least it has been with like my circle of friends who all have Fitbits that go in their pockets. But then I think like if you look to the next jump up, like glass, right? Glass is like the hardest possible sell because it actually has no constant utility.
In its current form.
Right, but it doesn't do anything. Like it can take pictures.
No, it can do the thing of you looking at your notification somewhere else.
Yeah, but
and responding to it.
That's really not
if
good
it worked flawlessly and it was in a pair of Warby Parkers no one here would question it.
Right,
They would just be out
because a
buying
pair of
it.
Warby Parkers offers you like another utility.
So here's
Right.
the thing,
Of
though.
course.
Like, we need. I like what the caller was saying about thinking about accessories, and we keep on focusing on screens. Glass has a screen. Watch has a screen. Like we need to have gadgets that don't have screens. That like the little pulsing light on the jewel thing. It's stupid, but like actually, like that'd be cool. I'd like to see like a little bit of information.
You just want to be
something that
covered in
vibrates.
LEDs.
Yeah,
You
pretty
want
much.
to erupt in the shimmers every time something
and
happens.
we utilize eyes and maybe ears too, but we don't utilize like what's it called? Sense, like how things interact with your body. We just like utilize eyesight and hearing.
Yeah.
Nothing else.
So look, I think that stuff is coming. I think it's a question of you have to get the technology right. You have to get the battery life right. You have to get the connectivity seamless so that everybody isn't like constantly worried about syncing and tinkering like with their stuff. And that is like, it's a few years off, but there's no question that but it's got to be where it makes sense. I don't think there's going to be like, hey, we put a heart monitor in a necklace, like I mentioned. Like, does that make a lot of sense? It makes more sense to put something around your wrist that does a bunch of other things as well. But
Samsung could make the S jacket and all the S features.
That's true. That is true. All right. Well, thank you for the call. Very interesting topic. And I think do we want to get?
We'll just say hi to Tom.
We have some,
and then we should wrap up.
And Sam is here too. Sam
Sam.
Byford is
Oh,
here.
wow.
Sam Byford and Thomas Ricker, who you may or may not
walking
know.
away.
Yeah.
Are you?
Just-
You're leaving.
just goodbye.
Who you may or may not know are
I mean, literally, people from around the world are not filtering into the Verge.
part of
headquarters.
our international. Oh, you got a haircut. Look how snappy you look. Look at
You
this.
do.
Thomas Ricker, everyone.
Wow, you look real happy.
I have gifts.
Oh
drunk
no!
are you?
Gifts like GI.
A little bit
apps?
drunk.
Oh my
and
god!
a little bit jet lagged.
Really?
So these came from. This is a company called Minio from
Is this an
the
ad?
Netherlands.
Are you doing an ad for them?
It sounds like it, doesn't
Yes,
it?
it does.
Well, we're showing off some later this week. I think maybe tomorrow we're going to show off some different gadgets from the countries we represent. And I came in from the Netherlands.
Oh, that's a secret.
And
Oh, this is cool.
so they hand make
This
these
is a
cases.
wood. This is
Look at
a.
this.
Oh, this is actually really awesome.
Look at this case. These are fantastic. I just got them. They were shipped here. I just picked them up this morning.
this one is
That is
amazing.
awesome
Sick.
looking.
It
Hold
is
on, let me
insane.
see that.
Look at
Oh,
this.
you got another one? Oh my God, with our logo? Get out.
Dude, this one.
I just picked these up in
Get
the lobby
out.
like 10 minutes ago.
Now I'm back on the iPhone.
This one's
Dude, check
awesome.
this out.
This
Hold
iPhone
on.
case is
Look
amazing.
at this.
Oh my God.
Surf's up.
You're the worst. You've gone from being awesome to horrible in 1 second.
Look at this.
How do I get this out of here?
Look
That
at
thing
this.
is awesome.
This is the best.
What are you
Can
doing?
someone take this out of here? Let me see that while you're taking it out. There you go.
And we'll look at this.
Never getting that back.
Anyway, I think Sam Byford's also here, but he doesn't have any gifts for you.
No thanks.
Are you
Sam.
leaving? That was it.
Go back to Japan. Not interested. Sam, come on, have a seat. Button's a little bit hard to use on the top of this. Oh my God, Sam Byford, everyone.
Hello.
He's could be the tallest member of our team. How tall are you?
I'm shorter than you, aren't I?
Then he's not the tallest member of our. Oh no, Casey. Casey Newton is the tallest member of our team. He is 100
and he
feet
knows
tall. Yeah. This is really awesome.
Yeah, these
It
are
has
the best.
anyhow. Sam, how are you?
I'm pretty
Welcome to America. It's
How's
good
Japan?
to see you.
It's pretty good.
This is ridiculous.
I'm just. By the way, that's Ricker's phone.
What? Oh, speaking to the mic, they're very mad at
Get
you in
ready
the
for
booth.
me to go to the bathroom.
I'm talking into the mic.
Listen to this
I don't know what
accent,
that means.
everyone.
That is
You
the
wouldn't
worst
know.
threat
You
of
wouldn't
all
know
time.
he's a native Japanese person.
Yeah, I've been practicing a long time.
Yes, very good.
On my American.
Very good. You're American.
Ladies and gentlemen, Harry Potter is here.
All right. Well, look, on that horrendous note, we should probably wrap up.
We should. It's
because
been-
I want
it's
to.
been a
I
while.
want to see these guys and hang out with them. And not that I don't love you, the Vergecast viewer, you, but I have to go, and we have to go together.
Yeah.
We're going together. It's official.
It's very exciting.
Yes, it is exciting.
All
All right.
of our people are here.
Wait, what? Hold on. What? Detours. Oh, yes. Oh, my God. We have clips. Hold on. Before we go, we have preview clips. We're starting a new series, a travel log. We're going to a bunch of cities in America and finding really interesting stories and people there. We're starting that next week. It's called Detours. We have a clip from that. And then after that, I think we have a preview of the new Top Shelf, right? A very short one. So
Which
take a
is
look,
awesome, by the way.
Take a look at both these, and then when we come back, I'm going to say a bunch of ending stuff, and that'll be it for us.
Then I'll cry.
Good to see you. Are we off our mics?
At the end of the day, people build everything, even if it's an industrial robot that builds something. At some point down the line, someone had to build the robot that built the robot that built the robot, right?
People in general don't really want to imagine alternative possibilities, alternative worlds. And that for me is very sad and very, very challenging.
One is here in America, people put their all, like we put our all into everything that we do here.
I guess what I'm trying to do is put the control of the system, put the control of the power back in the hands of the people.
Yes. So anyhow, that's
Hello, we're back.
That's a really exciting series. That
we were definitely paying attention to.
We were sorry. Ross was like in seriously, here's what's going on while that video is being played. Ross was saying things like this to me. This is what I was hearing. In 2 weeks, there's going to be a top shelf, and then in 3 weeks, another top shelf. I'm like, what do you mean? What does this mean? He's like, and then this is next week. And I'm like, what's happening? Why are you telling me all these numbers? So that is starting, Ross. When is Detour starting?
Starts next week.
Next week on the 28th of August. We have a clip from the next top shelf, which is also next week. On Monday, the 26th of August. Is that correct?
And this one's awesome.
And this one is, I'm told, is called Camp Shelf.
It's called Camp. They went camping.
What?
Yeah.
What did he just say in my head?
I don't know.
I hate you, John. You're the worst. Just run the clip. Here's a clip from Top Shelf. Camp Shelf.
Let's go camping!
Well,
that's a little taste of how excited David Pierce can get about moving in a car 5 miles. I don't know. By the way, I think that we were being funny there. I don't know if it's obvious that we were being funny.
Yeah.
That was supposed to be funny, right, Ross? Okay.
You sure?
I mean,
that's what David is like all the time.
David is not supposed
If you
to be-
get David moving at any reasonable speed, he just freaks out.
Yeah. Can we? What is the name of this company?
The Verge.
No. What is the name of the company that makes these wood cases? Minio.
Yeah.
So Minio did a custom. Can we get a shot of this? It's got the Verge logo on it.
It's pretty cool.
It's awesome. You don't have to zoom in. You can zoom in if you want. You already got up there.
Guys, I gotta go. I gotta go change my gut bacteria.
What's that?
I'm really worried about it.
Very cool.
I gotta change my gut
look
bacteria.
at the position my hand is in. No hand should ever be in this position. This is like delicate. Anyhow, that's the Vergecast for this week.
I'm sorry.
If you want to get in touch with us, you can leave a comment when the post goes up. You can email us at Vergecast@theverge.com. You can find us on Twitter. The Verge is @Verge. I'm Joshua Topolsky. Nilay is Reckless. Dieter is Backlon. Sam, what are you? Sam Byford?
345 triangle.
Oh, of course. 345. Sam Byford is 345 triangle, as you might have guessed. And you're Trixie, right? TRIXXY.
Yeah.
That's Thomas Ricker if you want to
Also
harass
obvious.
him on Twitter. By the way, he loves nude pics. Please DM him as many as possible. DM or PM, either one, public or direct.
Yeah.
And that's the Vergecast for this week. We'll be back next week with more delicious Vergecast probiotics. And until then, so sorry about your family.
Yeah.